So my name is Jillian Mariscal. I'm owner and chef of Sabrosa Vegana. It is a plant-based Latin American catering business, hopefully soon to be storefront one day. So I'm bringing to you today sandwiches, but a really kind of sandwich that's dear to my heart. I call it TLT, which is a play on words from BLT, which is a classic bacon, lettuce, and tomato, but we don't do bacon. We do tempeh. And what is tempeh, right? Let's talk about tempeh really quick. So this is what I'm using today for our tempeh bacon substitute. And I'll getting close to see, this is the brand, but there's so many other brands as well. You can even make this yourself. And I'm gonna open it up so you can see even better. So tempeh is basically soy, but it is soy that is kept as the whole bean. They don't process it more than just putting it together in this compact type of, I'm gonna cut this open so you can see it a little better. It usually comes together compacted like this, and then they slice it. And if you can see these slices, which I'll come and zoom even more, you can see the soy in between pressed together. And I'm gonna come in closer here. I don't know if you could see it, right? But you see the beans in there, the soybeans kind of compressed. Remember I said beans was my favorite vegetable, so this is just another type of bean, right? And this has so much protein in here. So we're gonna be using this as our main ingredient in the sandwich. But you can put so many things in sandwiches. Look at all these fun colors we have here, and you can put many more things. As when I have a 10-year-old son, and he is not fully vegan. However, he eats a lot of vegetables. And I always tell him the best way to start eating vegetables is getting into the process of making it with the parent. So as I put this to cook, we're gonna start cutting these things together. There are children's knives. I don't have one with me right here, but I do recommend like having kids work with you when you cook certain things, especially when you're introducing to them new foods, because it really brings in the curiosity to finish it through. So it's like, oh, I'm washing this. Oh, we're cutting this. Oh, you know what? Let me taste this. And tasting is what we want to get to that point. Sometimes it's hard to even get it to the tasting part, right? But helping with the process of cooking it along with you and, you know, with the parent or guardian should be helpful with getting to that point of just tasting it. So this is on hot. I want to get this tempeh simmering and browning while we're cutting up our vegetables. So this is hot. I'm going to put our pan here. I think you can see everything from here. I'm going to move this slightly over so that you can get a better view. And I'm going to okay, there you go. Okay. So I'm not using any oil. I'm putting a nonstick pan. Okay, if you don't have a nonstick pan like that, you could put a little water so it doesn't stick to it. And we're gonna put it right in there, just like that. For this sandwich, I'm just putting 3 slices. You could even put less than that. I probably might just cut it in half and use 2 slices, but we'll put a 3rd one there just in case. And while this is gonna get hot, we're going to go to our vegetables. Now, before we even go into our vegetables, let's talk about washing our vegetables, which is really important. Even things that we don't use the skin for, like avocados, I recommend that you wash them, because even when you're putting it on your cutting board and you have it all around, we're in the time of COVID, we just passed a pandemic. We got to make sure that when we're touching things that have been touched outside many times to try to feel if it's ripe or not, that we should wash them anyway, even if we're gonna just cut them open and not eat the skin. So I wash things. They do have plant-based soaps for vegetables, but I use plant-based soaps for dishes and I dilute it. This is a Trader Joe's citrus soap and it says plant-derived in the front. I dilute it when it's at the end, put a little bit and massage your vegetables. Even the kale, do a little massaging on the kale, because especially kale in the back, you'll find a little friends in the back sometimes if you're not careful, all right? Little nature friends, if you know what I mean. So we want to just make sure our vegetables are cleaned and washed, and have the kids join in on that process as well from start to finish, okay? That includes even the cucumbers too. I used to eat the skin, but I feel like the skin has a lot of, it's really hard to clean fully. So I recommend just peeling. So let's start cutting some stuff up while this is, I already hear it simmering. I get that bacon simmer and smell, that smokiness. So this is also marinated with it's there's a smoky flavor you can buy. You can marinate this yourself. I recommend looking online. There's a lot of different types of marinade, but I wish you could smell it. Are you cooking with me along, anybody? You can smell the smokiness off this, which is great. So that means it's working. I'm gonna give it 5 minutes on this side and then flip it over. And I'm checking the time. I got time, okay, in 5 minutes. So I washed our cucumber. I'm going to peel it. Okay. I'm not gonna peel the whole thing because I'm not gonna use the whole thing for this sandwich. Another fun thing to do when you're cooking with kids and when you're just getting into a new sort of cooking thing with vegetables, especially cooking with vegetables, is the right tools. I tell people all the time when I love to cook before I went plant-based fully, but I learned more about cooking when I went plant-based because, you know, you're cooking with a lot of variety of vegetables and learning how to use the vegetables in different ways. Sometimes you need different tools. And one of my favorite tools is a Mandolin Slicer. Oh man, it's one of my favorite to make things look fun and clean cut. Just be careful when you're doing it. Always have an adult with you and wear a glove. I'm not wearing a glove today, but sometimes people wear gloves to protect themselves. And it just making cuts with it. You can do these really quick little slices and they come out pretty evenly. So this is great when you're doing really nice presentation. And I talk about presentation and color a lot because eating plant-based and eating food in general is very visual, especially for children. You want something to call out to you, to say, okay, it's inviting to eat. So any little way I can make food look appetizing and pretty, I try to do that, especially for kids. Because we want it to be fun. We don't want it to be an experience of like, ooh, what's that? I remember when I was a child, a lot of vegetables were overcooked. So, you know, just seeing the colors draining from the vegetables, we have to be aware of how things look, because also the nutritional values in that colors as well. We're eating the colors. Okay, so I feel like this can get flipped. Yeah, let's check. Nope. Yeah, it's a little brown. Okay. I think I'm gonna also raise the fire on this. Raise it up a little bit. Okay. So we have some cucumber slices. I'll put that aside. We have now kale, which I washed and massaged. Okay. We're gonna take the spine. I call this the spine off the kale. Sometimes when you buy kale from bags, they'll just chop up the kale like this and it comes with the spine. So I always tell people, please try to buy the kale whole. You know, buying kale in bags, you're using plastic. The kale whole is cheaper and you get more. You get more for your money. So buying the kale whole is always, for me, worth the money because having the spine is no fun. And then it turns you off to kale. One time when I first went vegan, this was years ago, I ate something and I was like, I tasted the spine of the kale and I was like, this, I will not be eating this anymore. And then someone told me, oh no, you're not really supposed to eat that. I was like, oh, okay. So everything is a learning process, even at whatever stage. Okay, so I removed the spine here. I'm not gonna chop the kale too much because we're putting in a sandwich. We wanna have at least a little bit of depth to put in the sandwich. So even though you have a long strip here, I'm gonna probably put that in half right here. So we have halves here like this, and it's probably the size of the bread, which I'm gonna get into right now. So we have, we're getting the pieces ready for our sandwich. So we have our cucumbers here, our kale here. And it's good to kind of align it up if you'd like, so the kids can then later put the sandwich together. So that's what we'll do today too. I'm gonna make everything on my cutting board here to make it look like our little buffet table for our sandwich assembly. Okay, so we have our kale, we have our cucumbers. Now let's cut up our tomato. Someone said they like tomatoes. I love tomatoes too. I can eat tomato sandwiches just like that. I love tomatoes. Love, love, love. You could use the mandolin slicer for the tomatoes. You can slice them regularly. It's just fun. Why not use it, right? You might want to make it thicker than that. So we have some slices here. And I always emphasize for sandwiches, put whatever you like. This is just the base. This is just the starter of understanding what what I think my flavor profile likes. But if you want to add or take away things from this, as long as you're making sure it's plant-based and you're having your fiber, you're hitting all the nutritional points, it should be good. And this is a good opportunity to look in your fridge. I was looking at my fridge, I was like, I need this, I need this. Things that you can use. Things that you normally don't eat, I would put in the sandwich as well, because you're eating it all together. All the flavors are gonna melt, and you're gonna forget that you put sprouts in there if you're not crazy about them. So, like things that I eat vegetables, but not all vegetables. But the ones that give me a little bit of a hard time, where I'm not used to eating, I'll throw in certain things. I'm not saying this is one, I like these, but if you're new to stuff, and you're like, what is that? Throw it in there. It's a nutritional value. Just like in smoothies, what I like to do is throw spinach when it's like mango and all these other things. And you're throwing a little spinach in there, and it doesn't change the color, but you get some spinach, you get some nutritional value. So today we're gonna use sprouts in our sandwich as well. We don't have to cut it up or chop it, anything. It comes just like this. And I'm gonna come in closer too to show you. Sprouts are baby plants that are just have grown. I'll take some out here. Actually, I'll pull it out here so you can see it. And you could see the seeds. These are the seeds that they came out from. They came out of here, and then they started growing, and then they stopped the growth right here, and then we eat the baby seeds of the baby sprouts of the plant. And this has a lot of great nutritional value as well. So we're gonna throw that in there. And it makes it look pretty, okay? So avocado time. Now, like I said, I washed the outside of the avocado and the lemon, because as I'm working on the table, I don't want to worry about cross-contamination from outside people touching stuff, right? And we have the lemon here because avocado likes to turn really quickly. And let's hope this one should be fine because I'm feeling it. We're gonna cut it down the middle. Slice it like this till the seed. Let's see, let's do the reveal. Oh, that's nice. That came out good. Sometimes, you know, it's a game, which is it gonna look nice? No, but you're gonna feel the firmness on the avocado. This is a good time to teach the kids, you know, what an avocado should feel like. This is a little soft. This is a little hard. You know, these are the things that, you know, when in the supermarket, it seems like foreign. Like, how do I know if this is good or not? Also, I would also check if this top part is on here. I like to make sure that it's still on there. That, for me, guarantees that it's still good. That might be an old wives' tale, but for me, it hasn't done me wrong. So just make sure you're doing your best to feel around for any empty spots before you buy, and make sure that they're going to be good, because sometimes it is a catch. All right, so I'm going to lift this one here and take this one. We're going to slice this up. Usually I have a spoon to cut it up, but I don't have that. So I'm going to just peel the slices. Actually, I'm going to peel it just like this to get slices. And then I'm just going to peel the skin off, because I usually spoon it out. We get nice slices there, just like that. And because avocado goes brown really fast, and we're still got to cut up. What else do we have to cut up? Oh, we're still doing the bacon here. I'm going to put some lemon and give it some flavor. Actually, I think it's just like that. No, I need to get cut one more. Okay. So another great thing in sandwiches, and I didn't put any here today, are herbs. Oh my goodness, herbs are the best for just elevating any salad or sandwich or anything. And I think they don't get used enough. Herbs are such a great, like cilantro, basil, oregano. Like we use it for seasonings when they're dried. We sometimes use them for salsas, but we really should be using them a lot more. We can throw them in sandwiches, just tasting that basil when you bite in with the tomato, and with the cilantro, it really elevates it. So I would recommend getting herbs as well, and always having them on deck as you're training your palate. Eating whole foods is something that has to get a training process, because when we eat chemicals like processed things like a Pop-Tart, I can go into all these brand names, right? But because we're so bombarded with that, eating like this sometimes can be like, oh, I'm not used to this. Right, we're not used to it. So we have to train our palate. So train your palate by adding and always experimenting and keeping it fresh. Herbs are a great way to train your palate into getting used to having seasonings again, minimizing salt. Trust me, it was a process. When I first went plant-based, I did like a lot of vegan processed foods, and then I started realizing, no, my palate really is yearning for more whole food, plant-based. And as I did that, I noticed, okay, I gotta really add a lot to this salad, but I'm gonna eat the salad, right? So whatever makes you really want to eat that salad, if that means adding more of this, of corn or this or that, do it as you're training your palate. All right, I think the bacon is ready. I could see it starting to turn the bacon. The tempeh, sorry, is ready. Look at that. Because I looked at it visually, it kind of just looks like it. All right, so I'm gonna flip it again, and it's like it's getting crispy. I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear it, it got harder, right? So it got crispy there. I'm gonna flip it one last time and show you here. Okay, flip it. And it's nice and crispy. And you notice it got crispy, we didn't have to use any oil. No oil whatsoever. Okay, cool. So we have our lemon. So I'm gonna squeeze a little lemon over the avocado real quick so it doesn't go bad, and also gives it a little pop too. It has a little sourness and refreshing. So put that here. And also I put this with the other lemons, with the other avocado, so it doesn't go bad. All right, so we have our avocado, we have our sprouts, our lettuce, tomato, our bacon. What about the bread? That's important, isn't it? Okay, what are we gonna eat this with? Just like this? We gotta talk about the bread. So another tip, when buying breads generally should be just flour, water, yeast, salt, maybe a little salt, baking powder if they do, that's it. But because we are a manufacturing industrial society, sometimes they put other extra ingredients. So one of the pro tips I really recommend for anything plant-based, don't assume that it's plant-based at the store. Always check the ingredients. Usually the allergens, which are the ones that I look out for because I avoid milk and eggs, are usually in bold. So it's sometimes easy to spot. Sometimes it's not. You have to kind of go through it, and it's a lot. If it's a lot of ingredients, I would steer away from it. Go to more simpler type breads, where you can see the basic and understand the ingredients. It's not any chemicals to it. This one only has a lot because this has a seed. This is just listing all the seeds. This is about 21 whole grains in this one. So that list is not chemicals, it's basically just listing all seed. And as you work your way up through the palate, if you are used to eating whole grain bread, go straight for the whole grain bread. But I would avoid the milk for sure, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't drink milk. I don't like, when I mention milk, I know I don't drink milk either, but sometimes you drink milk in products if you're not aware of the ingredients. So always just double check, especially with the bread on this. So today we're using Dave's Killer Bread, and it's I'm gonna put. Can I make two? Yeah, I can make maybe two. Awesome. Yeah, so that'll be there. Now, if you're used to doing certain things like putting mayo, I'm not gonna put it, but there are plant-based ones. I don't really advocate too much for it, but I do advocate that if you're going to do it because you want to, try to go for the plant-based ones. I never really even liked mayo before. I like the vegan ones though. And so this might go well with it, but add anything else. You could put hummus, you could put pesto, you could just leave it like this. You could put herbs, like I said. Today we're gonna put the avocado first because I like the avocados creamy. Okay, so we're gonna put the avocado. I'm gonna move this around first, really quick. We're running out of time. We're assembling. Okay, so we see everything here. Let's start with the avocado first. We're gonna put the avocado. Okay. Put that right on there. No seeds. We don't want lemon seeds. Okay, we're gonna put some creamy avocado. What else? Let's put a kale. Put some kale. This is the fun part. Like putting it together. It's like making tacos or burritos for yourself. It's like make it look pretty and fun, and then you get to eat it. Okay, now we're gonna put cucumbers to hold that down. Cucumbers. And now we're gonna put our tempeh. So I'm gonna cut this in half. Just like this. And I'm gonna put the pieces like that. Can you see? Okay. Like that. This one will just have one. Don't do what I do with the touching. That's the old chef thing. Okay. So we have half of the sandwich, and we're gonna add now the tomatoes, my favorite part. I loved adding a lot of tomatoes. It wouldn't be a TLT without the T, right? The tomatoes. So we're gonna throw all these tomatoes in here. And there's all juicy tomatoes too. You know what? Let's put more tomatoes really quick. And that's it. And we're gonna cut this up. This one's getting one more. This one's getting one more. Okay, now we're gonna close it. And I'm gonna cut it in half here. And oh my goodness, let's take a look. Oh wait, I forgot the sprouts. Wait. There we go. The sprouts. We gotta make it look pretty with the sprouts. Look at this. Now we're talking. I said, look there. Now we're talking. And I'm gonna take one big bite, the TLT right in the middle. So good. You taste everything. You taste the tempeh with all the stuff. It's juicy. It's crunchy. Has flavors. It doesn't need anything else, in my opinion. This is so great. How are you guys doing over there? Are you enjoying it? Did you make it?
It's amazing. You did an incredible job illustrating all the pieces.
Thanks. It looks so good. I'm gonna do the next one here and just cut it up, and then we're done.
Can you use tofu too?
Yes, you can. You definitely can. Here we go. That's the sandwich there. Tofu, you can definitely use tofu. You can marinate that, and instead of tempeh, you can put it in the oven, and you can do however you want. You can make it crispy and put in here crispy tofu. And like I said, the avocado with the tomato and the tempeh, such a great combination. Very juicy. You can have this for breakfast. You can have this for lunch. It's fiber filled and everything. I really appreciate you coming to this portion and to the fitness portion. This was great. Thank you for having me.